Right, so the purpose of this is to start doing, because I decided I was going to channel a painting for Virginia Giuffre, and it feels like I want to do it, but I don't want people to think that it's some kind of like mad publicity thing. So it feels a bit, because there's so much stuff going on about her, and it's such a sad story, and I'm just really moved by it. But what I want to do is do the canvas, but also when it's finished, if it works out, then I think it would be a good thing to use to auction or to sell in order to donate the money to victims of domestic violence or sexual assault, trafficking, that sort of thing. So if it works out, because it might end up being rubbish, but if it works out, then hopefully that's what's happening with this canvas. So I wanted to say that rather than saying, yeah, now I'm doing something for Virginia and all that, whether it still feels like that feels a bit icky. I don't want it to come across as such. I want you to realize that I'm doing this from a place, from my heart chakra. I feel like it's something I want to do for that energy. And I want it to have an impact, no matter how small that is. Just to do something that makes a very small difference means an awful lot, I think, and it can move your energy in that way. So it's not an entirely selfless thing, because to do it will make me feel good. So I have this big canvas. This is actually, for me, this isn't really a big canvas. This is this really, for channeling work, this is the smallest sort of canvas that I like to work on. I have worked on much smaller, particularly when I'm working on commissions for people or for publishers, because they often have a very tight, brief. Also, if I'm working for a publisher, then I often have to pay to get the painting digitized, so I have to pay to get it scanned, and obviously that's more expensive the bigger it is, so I tend to work smaller because I'm a tight ass. But this is a 36 by 24 inch canvas, which is just about a nice size for working, and because it gives you the freedom when you're channeling. Sometimes things come through very quickly, so you've got images happening very quickly in your head that you're trying to translate onto canvas, and it helps to have that space to be able to like just put it out there, rather than be like, well, can I fit in here, and is that going to fit in? So I still do that from time to time. I still like end up making a picture in my head that's far too big for the canvas, but we shall see how it works out. So whenever I start a canvas, I never start from just a white canvas. I always start with a base colour, and I know that's going to be really tedious for anybody to watch, like to just watch me painting one colour onto a canvas. But what I wanted to do, because this is like part of a mission, is I wanted to have the whole story of this canvas documented. So I'm afraid the boring bit is going to be there as well. And you'll also see all the bits where I F up and all that kind of thing, because a lot of times when I'm working, channeling, what I call channeling an energy, so I'm trying to connect with somebody this side of the veil or beyond, or some energy or something like that, then it sometimes you have a really good connection and you're in flow and you're in the zone and it's all coming through very clear, and sometimes it's just like pulling teeth, and you'll do something and then you're like, no, that didn't come from my heart, it came from my head, I'm going to get rid of that, and then you go back, and then so it's a process. And I think that's what I'm trying to say in my convoluted way. It's a process, and it's not linear sometimes. And I will say this as well, that most of my paintings look absolutely dreadful until I finish. So like my parents would often come round, like when I was painted for an exhibition, they'd be like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure this is like where you're going with this? And you can see their faces just thinking, these are absolutely shocking. But it's like in the final detail where it seems to come together, and I have faith, I always have faith that that will work out. And it usually does, but we just have to see, don't we? And I like to be like a little bit free about that, because if you put like that right, this is going to work, it's all going to come out so naturally, we're going to have this fantastic canvas to sell at the end of it for this charity, then that's sort of tempting fate. And whatever you're painting for, especially when you're doing a commission for somebody and they're like, I want it to be like this and like that, and you set off trying to do something, and then it just makes it so much easier to cock up. So we're going to attempt to do this with a freedom of thought and expectation. What I'm going to be trying to do is, I've spent quite a long time looking at the Virginia Giuffre case. I've done some tarot about it. Felt the wave of sympathy, empathy around the world, but also the sort of lots of people jumping on the back of it and that. And I don't want to be part of that crowd, although arguably that's what I'm doing. So that's why I want this to be a painting that hopefully can be sold in order to benefit somebody who is in the position that she was in, or people that are in that kind of position, or even if we can auction it for a movement in order to raise awareness or something like that. And of course it can be digitized, so then there would be the digital prints as well that could be sold. But here I am getting carried away and assuming that I'm going to create something that's worthy of selling, but it's possible not. But the great thing with canvas and acrylics is that you can always paint over it. So, as I said, when I first start, it's really, really boring, and you're literally just going to watch me paint a canvas in a particular colour, which will be a colour that I will be connecting in with. And then as it develops, you'll see me start to do the channeling work and start to really connect with what I believe is spirit. Now, you want to argue with me about whether it's spirit or whether it's something inside me or not, I don't mind. You know, we all have our different beliefs, don't we? So, and I'm just putting the chat on here in case somebody wanted to say anything. Aha, Rocky Mountain, hello, and hello Mandy, you are there, brilliant. Oh, don't say that you're looking forward to it. It's like expectation, isn't it? But I understand. So if anybody wants to, I'm saying I'm channeling, and I've just spotted the most biggest spider on my wall. Luckily it's quite a way up, otherwise I'd be out of here. Gosh, whew. I need my stepdad here. He's here tomorrow morning. What if it's not here in the morning? And that means it's somewhere in the studio. Oh my word. Right. Okay, it's God's creature. It's God's creature. I must remember not to get the Hoover. Do not dice in the spider. It is one of God's creatures. Oh gosh, I can't stop looking at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Right. So whether I'm channeling back to what I was saying, maintaining my train of thought here, whether I think I'm channeling. If you don't think so, that's fine. Okay, I'm not going to argue about it. I'm not going to. Oh, it's like this big. Oh. Right, so we're going to start from the beginning here, and I suppose at least it's up there, not down here. I've not seen one that big for ages, but it's actually not an entirely bad thing, because like, I'm a real bad arachnophobe, and I mean, every late summer I start to really start to get worried about them, because I'm really, really frightened of them. And I got so bad that I couldn't sleep or anything, and I'd have to keep getting up and checking things, getting a bit obsessive compulsive about it. And then over the last few years, I've noticed this, that there seems to be less and less spiders and less big spiders in particular. And I think it's to do with the food chain, isn't it? There's less insects because of how we're treating the planet, and that's what they eat. So there's less and less insects, and there's less and less spiders, so there'll be less and less birds, and so on and so on and so forth. So, oh, hello. Oh, come to say hello. So I guess it's a good thing that there's a gigantic spider on my wall, and I should be grateful that that spider is around and happy for his presence. In fact, let us call him Shaunald. Shaunald is here. Shaunald is with us. Stay up there. Don't come down here, mate, and you'll be all right. Right. Okay, so very, very boring. Starting with a canvas, plain canvas. And I just want to say how bloody expensive canvas is these days. I've been painting over canvas for a while because I don't have much money, but I wanted a fresh one for this one because it's a channeled image, so you sort of want the energy to be fresh, or at least that's how I perceive it. So I bought a new one, and I must say the price of these things is astronomical now. Seems to have gone up no end. And this is art discount. This is like a cheapy canvas in a way. It's not the most expensive, and you can get, I could have paid 4 times as much for a canvas this size. I don't want to go out the door because it's right over, right over where I'd walk out my door. Oh, God. Oh, how hideous. So just getting it out the wrapper here. And I always use these, what you call a box canvas. So that's a canvas on a stretched frame. And that's because they're so easy to paint on and they're light. And it means that when you have to ship them somewhere, they're quite cheap to ship. But it's, I mean, if I was a proper artist, I'd be stretching my own canvas over frames, doing all that, but I just can't be asked. And I can't do it, and it's too difficult, and I'd make a mess of it. So I just buy it like this. But that the last painting that I did in here, the first one when I was trying this out, was on, that's a canvas board. That one. And it's sort of, I found it really difficult to work with just because it's actually that was the first painting I think I've done in years that was on board. And it's the way that it bounces back at you, which is different to a canvas. And I know that probably doesn't make much sense, but you can like feel it in the way that it reacts to a brush. Doesn't that sound really arty? Right, so I'm just going to do this and then I'm going to leave it to dry and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to start channeling the first layer, because when I work on layers, and almost I guess like when you're using the computer and doing graphics. So I'll be working layer by layer by layer by layer by layer. And that's the great thing about acrylics, because they facilitate that because they dry very quickly. So first of all, I'm going in with the base coat. And this is a bit like tradition for me. I just don't like to start work on a white canvas, and I don't know why that is. And I can't get that spider out my head, which isn't going to be really good for trying to work with energies. But I will be trying to do that. And then tomorrow, when my stepfather comes, he's getting up a ladder and getting that. And if it's not there, we're going to have to empty the studio looking for it, because I can't share space with that monster. If there's anybody watching who is within a 30-mile radius, I will pay your bus fare to come here and remove the spider. And I'm trying not to get the Dyson because I'm trying to be nice. And I don't, honestly, I never kill them, never. But sometimes, on occasion, I do admit that I have sucked them up the Hoover because I can't live in the same space as them. Like, I just can't. And you know, it's the stupidest thing, because everybody goes like, this is what people say to you when you're an arachnophobe, and you'll know this. But you're so much bigger than the spider. Yes, clearly. Or, I'm sure it's more scared of you than you are of it. It isn't, because it doesn't know that I'm here. And I know these things, and they are rational, but a phobia is not rational. So it doesn't work. I'm terrified. Help, save me. I'm not even going to try and turn the webcam around to try and get a photograph of it, because it's just going to encourage it to play up for the camera. So I don't want it coming down here doing selfies and all that. I'm just, if you see me keep looking up there, I'm just checking that it's still where it should be and not coming down to join in. So I am starting here with my favourite base layer. And this is this does not reflect what the end of the painting is going to look like. I mean, the colour, it's just a base layer. Okay, so I haven't even thought about what colour palette we're going to use for this painting. It's just, this gives me something to work with. And it's beautiful. Look how beautiful the yellow is. That's a cadmium yellow. And it's just the way that it goes onto the canvas. And it's such a happy, happy colour. And, you know, as much as Virginia's story is not a happy story, in many ways it is, because she triumphed over adversity. And she has inspired so many people. And, you know, there's been lives saved and lives changed because of the steps that she took and the bravery that she showed. So I think I wouldn't ever think about her as being an entirely tragic and awful story, although it is tragic, but it's not entirely tragic, is it? There's a depth of happiness to her. There's a way that she managed to keep herself as she was for a long, long time. She managed to overcome adversity because she had an inner sunshine. There was something underneath everything that she went through. Something underpinned it all, and meant that she was able to get through stuff that other people would have folded years ago. You know, they just couldn't deal with it. So I believe this is a great colour to start with, and it's also one of my favourite colours to start with, and I don't know why, I just like doing that, this colour to start with. So what I'm trying to do is just create not much of a texture. I don't really want brush marks on this. I should probably be using a bigger brush, to be honest, just to make those brush marks even smaller. And I can't stop looking at the spider. I'm going to photograph it so I can show you it at some point. I'm not clever enough to work out how to take a photograph and put it on the stream yet, although there probably is a way, but I am going to photograph it. Oh, Virginia, happy, happy sun. Also, I don't know how long this will take to do. It shouldn't take, I mean, it's going to take a few sessions for sure, but it's not going to take like weeks and weeks and weeks to do. I don't know, sometimes I'll do a painting, the energy will be really clear, be a really clear connection, and it's like, do you know, it would be like downloading a film on old dial-up, yeah? If you get a really good connection, you pirate your video really quickly, don't you? But if it's really dodgy and it's stuttering and starting and then it times out, then you have to stop and start again, and then it doesn't work, and then you've downloaded it and it's a dodgy copy and you have to do it all over again. So it's a bit like that. It depends on the connection. And if you think I'm talking rubbish and like I'm not actually connecting with anything, then that's fair enough too. All opinions are welcome. But at the end of the day, we should have something, hopefully, my aim is with good intent, because we should have something that can be sold to benefit people who are going through trauma. And that's all we need. Right. I'm just going to do my edges, because I always paint the edges. Like, I know some artists don't paint the edges, but I continue with them in the painting. So I'm going to go around the edges. We're going to get used to Shaunald on the wall. Shaunald, you're okay up there? Oh. If you see me scream and run from the studio, I haven't tried to connect with energies and connected with something demonic. Shaunald has moved off the wall or ran down the wall or something. Oh, it's so good to be back to working on a canvas at a decent size. Because, like, when I'm painting for oracle cards and stuff for publishers, as I said, you tend to have to be painting on this big and it's so restricted, and you've got to use little brushes and that, which make it so much more difficult. I think it's much easier to paint bigger. Like, honestly, when somebody gives me a commission, they're like, oh, I want it about size A4. And I'm like, no, you can't have it that small. Right, I'm going to take a picture of Shawnold on the wall. Oh, I can't look at him. Alright, I'm going to have to zoom in on him. Oh my god. Where's he gone? Oh, can't even look at the photo of him. Right. Okay. Mandy, enjoy your RV session. Right, yeah, I'm going to go anyway now because I've done my base layer and I just have to let it dry really before I do anything else. So I'm just going to leave the stream up, but I'm going to be out of the room. If you want to just pop back later on, or we'll see what happens later on, and I'll come back. I'm going to come back in and start doing the first layer. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus much with Shawnold the spider on the wall up there, because it sort of keeps drawing my attention to him. So I'll have to see if I can handle the extra audience in the room. And I've got to get out the door yet because he's right over the door. So wish me luck. I'm going to leave the stream up and I'll be back when that's dried. So probably about 20 minutes, but I'm just going to leave it up so I don't have to set it up again. But if you want to watch paint dry, then there is paint and you can watch it dry. In fact, I have a little sign. Oh, it's not, I haven't got room to put it, but there's my little sign. It says drying time back soon. So that was supposed to like go up there, but I can't reach to put it up there. And I don't know where else to put it. Right, Shawnold, you're in charge. Okay, I will see you lot later. is just right nearly over the door. So like, what happens if I come in the door and he drops on my head? I am right not happy with this. Don't go that way because you'll be right over the door then and I'll literally be stuck in here. What am I going to do? Don't you look at me like that. You could have eaten him, couldn't you? If you were a cat worth its money, worth its keep. Right. It's not dry yet. Yeah, go that way so you're at least not over the door, for God's sake, mate. Otherwise, you get the Dyson. I think I'm gonna have to call this a day, and like there's nobody watching at the minute, which is good, so I'm not dropping anybody and just leaving you all. But I think I'm just gonna have to call it a day because this spider on the wall is just gonna make it like impossible for me to actually focus and to concentrate. And I really need to do that if I'm gonna start to try to work with the energies I need to create this painting. So the awful thing is that when I come back in tomorrow, the spider will have gone, but then I'll be like, oh, it's in the studio somewhere, isn't it? Where is it? So, but I can't work with it on the wall. I really can't. The thing is, it's getting right close to being right over the door. So if that spider goes right over the door and I'm in here, I'm stuck in here because there's no way I could go out through the door with it right over my head, and I can't get out the window. So I'd have to try to contact somebody to come and move it. And like nobody would do that. Like I live miles away from anywhere. So I would probably starve to death in my own art studio. So I'm going to move out my candle and stuff, come back in. Ah, Charlene, hello, you're there. Charlene, I have a crisis on my hands. There's a spider on the wall. And I'm just saying, I can't continue to work with this spider on the wall because I just can't focus. So, and it's heading like more and more, edging more and more to being completely over the door. Now, if I go out and it's just about over the door, there's no way I'm coming back through the door in case it drops on my head. And if I'm in here when it ends up over the door, I'll be stuck in here forever because I won't be able to leave. So I think I'm going to have to abandon ship and try and get out before it moves over there. Come on, cats, don't go near the candle. So, I mean, this is my channeling candle as well, or one of them. I've got a crystal pendulum on there that I use for choosing some colours of paint. So we've got a quartz crystal pendulum. I've also got my cross, Christian, Christian cross. I work with Christian symbols, even though I'm a pagan. They do offer massive levels of protection. And I've used them countless times to get rid of negative entities. Maybe it's actually just hold the cross up at the spider. But I mean, get me, I understand that there's no badness about spiders. I know there isn't. I know it's an irrational phobia, but I just can't help myself. So I'm going to move out before it becomes massive, before it moves over the door. I'll come back quickly for that one. Right. Yeah, right. Okay, cats are out. Okay, I have to go. I'm so sorry to just... I can't bash it. Like, it's like literally 10 foot, 12 foot up the wall, and it's just going to run over the door, and I need to leave before it does that. So I'm going to close the stream and go. Oh no, honestly, I never kill them. Although I have to say, I have hoovered them up on lots of occasions because it's just me here, and I get to that stage where it's like, it's you and it's me, and I can't live in this house with you here. I'm sorry, but you're going up the hoover, and then I'll put the hoover outside. It's a Dyson though, and I think, well, you might have been chopped up, you might crawl out, you've got a chance. But I've got a dog in here with me as well now. See, the cats and dogs would love to play with him, but he's right up on the wall, and I couldn't even like get a shovel or a broom and knock him off because I'd literally be like, it would make me ill doing it because I'm that frightened of them. So I'm just gonna unplug everything and I'm gonna go because I'm like getting more and more anxious here. So it wasn't supposed to be today, so I'm gonna go. I'll see you soon.